Liz, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Long time no see.
I know it feels forever. Hold on one second. I have to take the call from outside of the restaurant because we got a little busy.
No worries, no
So
worries,
excuse the background noise.
no worries. So thanks for doing this. This is our first IGTV live, and you're the
Yes.
very first.
Thank you so much for having me as your guest.
So I wanted to introduce the concept of CEO snacks.
Okay.
Um, I figured since I'm in this brand management digital marketing space, I get to speak to so many CEOs every day. And
Hmm.
there's so many common issues that we all deal with. And we all have like these high impact snacks that we can share with each other that we can use in our own businesses.
Yes.
So I wanted to start by first talking about you, like your story on how you became a restaurateur after having a corporate career. And I feel like your story was perfect for today. I didn't plan it to be the day after the debate, but considering that your story has a lot to do with you being a dreamer and how that impacted the course of your life, I thought, why not start with that? So tell us
Right.
how you became the CEO of El Gordo Eatery.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for inviting me and having me. I've been the owner and operator of El Gordo Peruvian Eatery now for 8 years, which feels forever. I started right after college. I started my corporate career at a manufacturing and retail company, and I worked my way up from management trainee to sales and development manager to recruiter to general manager. So I grew up in the restaurant industry. My mother opened our first El Gordo when I was only 13 years old. So I always knew, I guess, inside my heart that I always wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to be an entrepreneur just like my mom. But as you start getting into corporate, it can suck you in, right? And
Yes.
I was very blessed to be with a company where I was learning a lot. I was very challenged. I was doing very well. My mentor was very hands-on with training me and helping me develop really tangible skills. So I also knew after college that for me to be able to take El Gordo from what it was, which was a mom and pop eatery, to a national chain of Peruvian eateries, I needed to come in with some solid skills as well, or at least it would help if I did. Uh, so in around 2011, I started planning my exit strategy from corporate to launching my own business. I created a timeline, a plan, steps, everything how I wanted to do it. And the universe always shows you that things don't go as you plan them; they go as the universe plans it. So, so
Yes.
yeah, my plan pretty much went out the window when in February of 2012, I got detained by ICE officers due to my legal status in this country. I came to this country when I was 6 years old, with my parents, like many dreamers do. We come at a young age, and we come so young that we don't even know that we're coming here to live, sadly, in illegally. Uh, we build our lives here. We go to schools here. We start our education, and to us, this is our home, right? But for many years, I was working on fixing my legal status. The immigration system is a pretty broken system. It's very challenging. It's very difficult. And it took a very long time. And in that process of me fixing my status, I was detained. And I spent 3 weeks in an immigration detention center, which resulted in me losing my corporate job, and face the possibility that I might have to restart my life again in another country. So that was definitely a lot to take in, a lot to go through. But I always say it was really the beginning of what my journey was destined to be, which is an entrepreneur, which is a restaurateur. And sometimes the beginning of our stories is filled with a lot of detours and a lot of just frustration and many different things. We all have very different beginnings. That was mine. And that caused for me to say, okay, you know what better time now than to finally have my first restaurant, as I've always said I wanted. And that's where I began. I started all over again, but this time as a restaurant owner alongside my mother and my family, to build on the business. And that was when I opened my first location in 2012 in Passaic, and now I'm on to my third one, which we recently opened here in Union Township. So yeah, that's a little bit of my background.
I feel your story is so impactful and so inspiring, and I feel like so many people need to hear that.
Thank
Because,
you.
right, because it's true, like, I think the face that this country has of dreamers is the wrong face, right? And how
Yeah.
you come into this country, luchadora, ready to, cement your footprint and make your mark. And here you are, opens your third location during a pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And successfully as well.
Yeah, and it's really even, more challenging for dreamers because again, we come here from when we're little, right? So to us, this is our home. It's not like, different from our parents that already come here as adults. For us, the idea, if that's why I'm very thankful for DACA, and pray for it to be resolved and not be removed, because the idea of literally starting your life over in a country that, although that may be your home country and where you were born, it's not your home.
It's not your home.
So exactly, and I think like when people think of dreamers, they don't realize we're just as American as everyone else because we grew up here, and we come in different, with different backgrounds, and we're in different realms. Some of us are restaurant owners, some of us are working in hospitals, some of us, so many different things. So I think in sharing my story, the reason really behind it is to sort of let everyone know you never know who's in front of you and what that person's story is. So yeah.
Right. And I think one of the qualities that every business owner should have is the openness and exposure to different cultures,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because the way those people, the way we run our businesses doesn't matter, where we're from. There's something we can learn from that. And there's something about our culture being Latina of, always striving for more, right? Because we
For
have
sure.
to, right? For our
Yes.
families and for legacy,
Right.
right? To continue the
Oh, for sure.
legacy as you
It's
continue the
ingrained in us.
legacy for your mom.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to go into, you and I started working together during the pandemic.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
I remember, so full disclosure, guys, Liz is one of my clients. I manage her social media, and we started working together during the height of the pandemic. Like, I remember you had gotten back from your trip to Napa, and it was
Mm-hmm.
like COVID hit us all in the face.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You came over and you started giving me some good ideas on how to start addressing everything because it literally was as everything was unfolding.
Everything was unfolding, and I, I was sitting at home, and I felt like I needed to help whoever I can help with, like, with what I was seeing from my couch.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had this amazing idea to basically start donating food to hospitals, and you called me and said, I have this idea and I need help
And you made it
arranging
happen in a
it.
few hours, which is
And
like
this, like,
perfect.
so I'll let you describe how that all went down, because it was something that I feel a lot of business owners missed the mark. They missed
Mm-hmm.
the mark on pivoting and collaborating with other businesses to get the community to support them. So I'll let
Yes.
you go ahead and describe how that all went about.
Yes. I think, as business owners, it's very easy to get caught up in our day to day, especially when you are a business owner that runs a brick and mortar business, that runs a business that has employees. Especially if you're running a business that has more than one or two employees, it becomes the day to day can be very unexpected. So it's very easy to get caught up and not take the time to sort of say, okay, although me being in the operations here, let's say inside the restaurant, is helpful. What really is going to help my brand, what really is going to help me grow, is how do I step out of that and think of the brand as a whole. And a lot of times we don't make time as much as we should for that. I know that before, that for me was not really a priority more than it is now. Now, because I've seen the impact it has on my brand, I make it a priority. So yeah, I came back from Napa. I mean, you and I have been, good friends for some times, and I always admired you. And when, you were hustling and at the nail salon, and, you had such a great social media page. So we've always been good at exchanging ideas. I think that's one of the key things I love about our friendship, is we're just constantly always talking business and exchanging ideas, which is nice to have. And I think as the pandemic was unfolding, every small business owner just felt like, oh my God, what do I do? What's going on, right? And you had given me like some ideas, and I said, okay, no, she's right. I need to put myself in front. I need to let my consumers know and my customers know how I'm reacting to the situation, how I'm feeling about it. And honestly, I think that was the best idea that you gave me, because I wasn't sure. I was very nervous at first because I was very afraid that things would get misinterpreted, or that maybe since I didn't know too much, like I didn't want to say something that then would come back and bite me in the butt. So, but it comes down to transparency. And I think doing this business for 8 years, what your customers and consumers will always appreciate is when you're transparent, open, and honest with them. And that's sort of how I approached the whole pandemic. It was like, I'm just as clueless as you are, but here's what I'm doing with the knowledge that I do have. Here's how I'm treating my staff. This is what we're doing as a team. This is what we're doing with, with our food. And by the way, because I also want to help and give back, this is what I'm going to do. And that's how that idea came about, because I think that when you are going through a situation where you're seeing just so much sadness, so much negative emotions going on from everybody, it's you want to say, okay, how can I help? There has to be something that I can do. And that's how the idea came about, with starting to get involved with the hospitals and delivering the meals, because, food always makes me happy. So
It does. And then
yeah.
it does make us happy, and it does bring people together. And when you're out there in the front lines, like trying to save lives, you're not thinking about eating, which is funny because we found a niche. We found that healthcare workers late at night weren't getting any meals. They weren't, no one was
Yes.
donating meals to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the
Then it
EMS
became
workers
like,
as well.
yeah, then it became our thing. Like, oh my God, who are we not feeding?
We need to
Are we
feed the
getting
nighttime
everyone?
staff.
Yeah, because it's almost like it. And I think when you start giving back, it's such a great feeling that it motivates you to keep doing that. And I remember us talking and saying, okay, we've been giving meals to the nurses and the daytime staff, which is great, but what about the night? Because we realized that restaurants were now closing early. And
Right.
right, and restaurants were closing early, and the night shift, people in the night shift were still working, and where are they eating? They can't even order food because nothing is open. So
Right.
yeah.
And I think that that motto that we've been hearing through and through this time, though, we're in this together. I feel like your brand totally embodied that, because your clients and the community at large in Jersey City, because this was going down in Team State in Jersey City, really embraced you. And I remember seeing the messages come through, and I was like, they wanted to know like how else to help, right?
Yeah.
And by you being so transparent and engaging too, I feel like your fellowship increased. I feel like, and I feel like it incentivized you too to keep going, right?
Hmm.
To keep it working.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I decided a few years ago that I actually, when I found the location in Jersey City, I was that was, I want to say, well, almost 4 years ago. Social media really wasn't as, at its height as it is now. It was, but it really, well, at least for me, it wasn't. I mean, it probably was, but El Gordo had an Instagram page. I posted pictures of the food and things like that, but it wasn't until I got to Jersey City And it was our first location that we were converting from scratch. And I said in that moment, I made the decision, I want El Gordo to be known for more than just a Peruvian restaurant that people go to and enjoy delicious food. I want them to know that this is that this is a story of so many small business owners that come to this country, that work hard, that, you know, take the risk, that open their own business, that day to day go through the sacrifice of running a business, and you know what it's like to run a restaurant, how it all works. I really felt that, you know, by being able to do that, not only would I connect better with my customers, but at the same time, you know just as much as me, entrepreneurship can be such a lonely road, and it's been so great just in these years by me making that one decision, how I've really been able to connect with my customers. I mean, from when I opened Jersey City to now opening Union, how supportive they've been, the messages that they send me, how excited they are that we're growing. It's really been such a great thing.
It really is. So I wanted to, now that you mentioned about connecting and engaging, out of many business owners, I love your dedication to your social media page. Like, it's really important to you that that a certain tone, a certain message is captured. I love that you trust that in me to deliver that every month.
Yes, yes.
And also how, it's important for you to engage with them via social. I try to always tell my clients that, it's not enough for me to post for you once a day. Like, you need to be in your stories. You need to be behind the scenes showing your clients what's going on, because you want to increase that engagement. And you have like high engagement on your page. So tell me, like, how much time do you dedicate to that? And what has been the response, with your clientele?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, definitely, when I decided that I wanted to bring on Fama as the agency that was going to represent my social media, one of the key things that was important to me, because I was someone that was so connected with my audience, was someone that would be able to carry on that same tone, right? And be able to connect with my audience as well, with the captions, with the pictures, that just sort of understood my connection and my vision with not only the brand, but how important that customer connection was with me. And I think that's been one of the great things that I've loved about working with you, that, you really just understand how important that is to me, and you tailor it. And I think that I make it a point every day, with Union now open, it's become a little bit harder, but I dedicate at least once a day to try to post something about a story, if it's a picture of the food or something in particular that day I'm learning. A lot of times I'll ask myself, okay, not too many people know this about the restaurant industry, so hey, maybe let me share it.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of this is as well, I want to give insight to it. I feel a lot of times we know restaurants and we know how good the food is and we know this, but we don't know much about the people behind it, whether the owners, the chefs, the employees, and they're all such crucial members of the team. So I think it's just, I have it in front of mine every day. Okay, my customers haven't seen me in a while. Let me say hi. Let me let them know how I'm doing. And if I'm struggling, I let them know I'm struggling. If I'm having a great day, I let them know I'm having a great day. Maybe that way they'll ease up on the star amount of stars they give me when they come down for a Yelp review.
Because you know how much we love reviews.
Oh my God, yes. I will never forget that talking
It's
about it.
it's like, it's one of those things where, like, you can do without it, but it's needed. And especially now in this time, that's how people are basically assessing you at this point, right? Because they can't leave their houses, they can't really try it for themselves, they probably don't know somebody who has, and so it's one of those tira y jalas that I don't like.
Yes, I know. It's, oh God, I only look at reviews when I do it with my team, so it's like I'm not alone. We do
Right,
it
but
together.
when I was running my nail salon, look, it was painful, but I felt even the negative ones was an opportunity for me to tweak the system,
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
Because I mean, you've grown to 3 restaurants, so I know it's important for you that each restaurant knows how to run itself to some degree, right? And so I felt like the reviews allowed me to implement that process of like, this is not what we want to happen. And also for crisis management, like to help come up with a good, because that's the one thing that a lot of business owners don't realize that marketers, digital marketers, and social media managers do. You have to have like a crisis management plan in place, right? When that
Hmm.
negative review comes through, or when you get that horrible comment in your comments, like
Hmm.
what's gonna be the response? Like, how are you gonna mediate that and turn it around, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So now you have this third location, which is a beautiful location in Union
Thank
Township.
you.
I loved it. I loved how, you did like this rebranding of sorts, and it
Hmm.
really shines through in that
Yes.
location.
Yes. Through the pandemic, me and you, we stayed working. You know, we didn't take time to learn how to make bread. We stayed working.
There was no bread baking going on in this
Yeah,
household.
yeah, I know, I know. No, yes, we did. We rebranded ourselves again. It comes down to as I continue to invest in the brand, which I now understand the importance of it as I continue to invest in myself and, by, hiring, my social media agency, hiring my business, my marketing agency, having my business coach, all these things that I now understand how important it is to invest in those outlets because all those outlets allow me to just think of my business differently. And most importantly, what it really does is it helps me stay focused on thinking of my business as a brand, right? Which that's what's gonna really grow El Gordo. And in order to be able to do that, I said, okay, I want to rebrand it where it's still going to be this obviously same recipe, same delicious food, but we're now a Peruvian eatery. We are this casual chic location that you come to, whether you are a foodie looking to try new foods or you are, Peru. We want to be the place that you go to. Um, and I started creating a uniform in terms of the design, so that this way all the locations resemble themselves. So that this way, eventually the goal is to franchise it and to go from there. So I wanted to start to create that structure, start creating all those things that would eventually line me up with the future plans that I have for the brand.
I feel like we got our CEO snack there.
Yay!
Right? The CEO snack being you have to invest in your business, and sometimes
Mm.
it's letting go of the things that you want to control because that's what holds you back from growing.
For sure. Yeah, that's, I would say, I've been in the restaurant industry 8 years. In the past 3 years, that I have seen real growth, not only in numbers, but in terms of brand recognition. Um, the key change has been just one, my mindset and how I think of my business. I no longer think of it as my restaurant, I think of it as a brand as a whole. And now I think big. I no longer think of, when I think of Union, I no longer think, okay, I'm opening the next location. How do I set up this location so that when I open the next 2 to 3 locations, it's an easier transition. So I've been able to as well adapt to that new mindset by investing and having a team of people, hiring the right people, because you cannot do it alone. And putting that and investing in a great, social media agency, investing in a great marketing agency, investing in my business coach, investing in me. So it's all those things that are going to really help you just really think of your brand, because at the end, there's the business and then there's your brand. What do you want your brand to be known for? What do you want how do you want your brand to grow? And you can only do that by having the right team of people along with you.
So, so true. So tell me, Union Township,
Yes.
what has been the the biggest lesson in opening that third location?
Uh, I would say, I continue to still do this is underestimating myself, meaning like I did not think we would start off as busy and with the amount of love and support that we've gotten. It's been such a blessing that some days, like on Sunday, this past Sunday, we were so busy and I just wanted to take a moment. Like I like almost wanted to cry because that's how thankful I felt. Because I couldn't believe that, oh my God, we have all these customers that want to come join us and visit us and try our food. So I think the biggest lesson is a lot of times, even when I launched my green sauce, I continue to underestimate all this work and all this investment that I'm doing. So I would say start with more staffing. I started with a small staff thinking that we wouldn't be as busy and starting with a small staff has definitely, especially the first few weeks, really burnt us because we just were taking in so many customers and we didn't have the right amount of staff for it. So I would say that's definitely so far the biggest lesson I've learned.
And it's a great lesson, right? It's a champagne problem to have.
Yes, yes, yes. It's very true. Yeah.
And what do you think led to that such a amazing, overwhelming support from the beginning? Like what led to that? What were
Hmm.
the steps? Because I know like you did a really great job of like hiring somebody to put together a press kit. And I feel small business owners miss that step. They
Yeah.
don't realize that, you don't have to be on Univision, Telemundo, or Channel 7, but each community has its publications, has, its groups that they go to get information about new businesses coming into town.
Exactly. Yes. Creating that press kit was something that was so beneficial for my business. And again, I would have only done that because, I did that just a few months ago, right? And again, it goes back to because of where my mindset is now. If I think of what's on that press kit, it's nothing that hasn't been there 3, 4 years ago. Why didn't I do it 3, 4 years ago? Because 3, 4 years ago I wasn't thinking of El Gordo as a brand. I wasn't thinking of the potential that it had. I was just focused on running the day to day and making sure that the restaurant was. I was able to open it and I was able to close it. That's it. Open
Right.
the doors, close the door, pay the rent, pay the staff, and take a little bit home. I was sort of thinking of it just that way. It's when I actually was recently in Amigos de Univision, Luis de la Hoz, which is he's involved with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and when I sent him that press kit, that was actually one of his feedbacks. He said, "This is great." He goes, "Not too many small business owners, let alone small restaurants, have a press kit. So the fact that you took the time to make one, I mean, that says a lot about your brand and right and how I think of it." So
Right.
it's all those things, and I think it doesn't matter. It's like you said, how big, how small, whether you want to grow to one location, whether you want to be known nationwide, whatever it is, your brand is unique because it's yours.
It's yours.
And you better than and no one better than you is going to understand the purpose of it. It's going to understand the vision for it. So it's very, very important to create one and not feel like because I think for a long time I felt like, who am I to have a press kit? Like, we're just this little Peruvian restaurant. And it's crazy that now that I have it, it's come so handy. I've used it and it gives my brand a certain status. I think when I send it to different media outlets, it gives them a better glimpse of who we are.
Exactly. And I love too how you made it a point to collaborate with local influencers. Like I see Chickpea always is, well, she's not Chickpea anymore. Lynn Hazan is
Hmm.
always supporting you, and she's local Jersey City.
Yeah.
And then some other influencers. And I want you to speak on that just really briefly because I feel like many small business owners don't
Hmm.
recognize the value in that, right?
Right. Right.
The being able to have your brand visible to all of their followers and just making sure that those influencers are aligned with you.
Yes. I think that's the key thing. I think, you know, Jersey City was the first location and where I started reaching out to different influencers, and I understood, okay, with my social media I want people to know me, let me connect. And I think the key change now 3 years later is that I am a lot more specific about which influencer I'm connecting with, the vibe. Like, yes, I want to be accessible to their followers, but at the same time I want to build a connection with them because they're coming to my restaurant, they're sitting down for a meal, we're chatting, we're getting to know each other. And I gotta say, I've been very, very blessed. I don't know if it's because maybe I'm in the food industry, so people are always more excited, to come visit a restaurant. But yes, I've had a lot of support from Lynn. She's done wonderful things for my Jersey City location. Here in Union Township, I reached out to Vanessa from Dine and Flash, and she
Yeah.
took the time to visit, and she was very sweet and great to work with. At, 2 weeks ago, we made our first debut on TikTok because we
I
had this.
saw.
Yes, we had this
It was
young
so
man.
awesome.
I know, he was so wonderful. He came with his parents. He's Peruvian as well, and he was just. It kind of came from him. I didn't even know he, was an influencer, and he said, "Oh, your place it seems so nice. Like, can I take some pictures? Like, can I do a TikTok video?" And I'm like, yeah, sure, not realizing that this is someone that has such a large platform. And, with TikTok, it's been, God, it's been viewed so many times, and I'm so thankful for it. So definitely very important to team up with different influencers that are in your field of arena and figure out how you can work with them, because I've seen the results from that.
And let me tell you, you have to be really experienced to make those 1 minute restaurant review
He did it
TikToks.
so wonderful. I was like, oh my God, he did such a great job. And yeah, we got viewed, I want to say, what, like the last time I checked, like 300,000 times. It was crazy. Yeah.
As you know, I moved to Florida 2 months ago, and that's
I
how
know.
I know I miss our Tuesday nights at
Yes,
Ventanas.
really. Yes. Yes.
But the way I'm finding places to try like restaurants and stuff is all through TikTok. And I love it because it's so visual, and they really as specific as to like what type of dishes you should be trying, what drinks you should be trying, what
Wow.
the decor looks like.
Yeah.
And I was telling these business owners around here that that's what they should, not even to worry about making their own TikToks because it's very time consuming, but to get these influencers that it's their thing and have like the following to make the
Yeah.
reviews because they're incredible, incredible.
Yeah. And I find that if you reach out to them, because a lot of them all start out with really with the need to wanting to help out the community, want to be involved in the community, right? So a lot of times it's how you approach them. And I've always had like a very easy, smooth, like even when I opened up Union Township, I reached out to Lynn again, even though she is from Jersey City, primarily focuses there, invited her here just because of the relationship that we have. So I think it's all in how you approach each influencer. And a lot of times my experience has been that they really do want to help you. If you're a business owner, they really do want to help you, and they know that they can. So it's all about the connection you make with them.
Right. Absolutely. I totally agree. So I want to leave off with you sharing your high impact digestible snack for our CEOs that are watching right now. I know I sort of put one in your mouth, but I want it to come from you.
Right, right, right. Oh my goodness. Uh, I would say, it's all mindset. Invest in your brand and know your numbers. The
Yes.
moment that I really dissected my numbers, because I wanted to invest in my brand, it allowed me to um, figure out where I'm spending too much money, that now I can allocate that money to a higher marketing budget, um, to be able to just, have more brand recognition. So it's really invest in your brand, and the results will follow. It won't be overnight, but if you're trying to take your brand nationally, that's the only way to do it, is if you invest in it and hire the right people to do the things that, you know, if you're the restaurant owner, your thing is running the restaurant. That's where I shine. That's what I love, right? So my thing is in social media. My thing is in Facebook ads. You know, my thing aren't understanding numbers, but you know, I have a great business coach that helps me do that. I have, you know, a great marketing agency that runs great Facebook ads. So knowing that you can't do it alone.
Absolutely. I think that was digestible and to the point. And anybody
Yay!
that watched this right now can leave saying, let me go run my numbers. I'm
Yes,
sold.
yes, yes, yes. It'll pay off.
Thank you, amiga. I
Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much. I miss you.
I
I miss
miss
you
you
so
too. We will see
much.
each other soon, I
Yes,
promise.
yes, 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 yes. All right.
All
Thank
right.
you so much for thinking of me and reaching out.
Thank you, and thanks to everybody that viewed. A
Yes.
new, CEO Snacks will be available next week, and I will be announcing that by Monday.
Woo! All right. Bye.
Have a great day. Bye.